Accessing peace. Existing without violence, with the ability to calmly resolve conflict. Downloading love. An overwhelming, deep, positive affection towards others. Activating liberty. Living your life as you see fit without infringing on the lives of others.
Welcome to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. I am your host, Darryl W. Perry, the Liberty Penguin, the Wombat, the uncut cocaine of libertarianism. And welcome to the very first episode of Peace, Love, Liberty Radio for 2017. That's right. It's a new year. And, well, no, the show's not new. It's been around for a while. But, you know, I do want to sort of, start the new year with some inspirational stuff, right? So let's begin with, I've actually got 3 articles from Archetypes, probably only going to be able to get through 2 of them, but going to start off with an article titled Realizing What Really Matters in Life. And then, if there's time, and there should be, we'll go through an article of 5 things that hold you back in life and how to get rid of them. But let's start on a positive note, shall we? Let's figure out how to realize what really matters. Everyone reaches a point where they realize they need to stop drifting through life and start focusing on what really matters. But the question arises, how do we do it? Though it may be intimidating to start living intentionally and eliminating the extraneous and erroneous that surround you on a daily basis, your life will become much easier once you do so. Think about it. The less baggage we carry, the easier it is to get around. Now, what they're talking about here, for the most part, is emotional baggage. They're not necessarily talking about physical possessions, physical baggage. Although recently I've heard several episodes of the School of Greatness podcast, and yes, that's one that I mention a good bit on this show, but there were several guests that were minimalist on the show recently. One guy says that he owns less than 200 items. The other guy says he only owns 15 items. You heard that right, 15. And he said every time he buys something new, he gets rid of something. So if he goes and buys a new shirt, he will get rid of a t-shirt. And he said, that may sound expensive, but, you can go to Dollar Tree and buy a shirt very cheaply. So, it doesn't get that expensive. This guy also does not live in a house. He's technically homeless, but he lives consistently in Airbnbs for extended periods of time. So he says, I don't have to worry about buying shampoo and soap and toothpaste because the Airbnbs and the hotels wind up providing that for you. But, I'm fascinated by the people that are intentional minimalist, where they're like, I only have 12 things, and one of those is my laptop, and the other one is a cell phone, and everything I'm wearing, and that's, let's see, socks. I'm guessing he counts the shoes as one item instead of 2. Each sock would probably be, considered a joint item because you need a pair of socks, right? So socks and shoes are 2 items. Pants is a 3rd. Underpants would be a 4th. The t-shirt he's wearing is a 5th. Laptop, cell phone. So that's 7 things. And then he only has 8 more. I'm guessing a toothbrush and a comb are a couple of those. So, maybe another set of clothes. I'm just fascinated by the concept there. But let's, get back into the article and stop my weird, fanciful fascination of how to be such a minimalist that, literally everything you own can fit into a backpack, which would be the 9th item, so you've got 6 more. Realizing that life is fleeting, this from Archetypes. They say, realize that life is fleeting. You probably already have a set of goals that you wish to accomplish at some point in your life. Well, that's a good start, there's one fatal flaw that stands out in that statement. At some point, too often we live our lives in a paradoxical manner. We say life is short, yet we live as if we have forever to accomplish our goals. We put off what we really want in life until tomorrow, and then tomorrow and tomorrow, justifying our lackadaisical attitude by saying we're too tired, too sick, too busy, etc. to start moving forward. Allow me to break in and say something that I've said repeatedly. There is no tomorrow. There is only now. Back to the article. The first step towards realizing what matters in our life is to stop putting off that which we want to do with the time we have on Earth. The article continues with a subparagraph, or not subparagraph, but a paragraph subtitled Focus on Your Goals. Author says, let me be clear. I'm not saying you don't focus on your goals for the most part, but I'm willing to bet that most people reading this, myself included, have wasted at least 5 or 10 hours over the past week watching television, sleeping in, or staying for one too many drinks at happy hour. That's from the author. Allow me to do some tabulations in my head. I watched a football game on Saturday that was approximately 4 hours. Prior to that, I may have watched another hour or two of YouTube videos. So yeah, I guess, at least 5 hours have been wasted in some kind of manner. The author says, I'm not faulting you for doing this either. We're only human, after all, but in those wasted hours, your mind was completely taken off of your goals. In fact, everything I just mentioned is just that, a distraction from reality. So allow me to pause here for just a moment to say that if you were only ever focused on reaching your goals and work, you will wind up going insane. Do you remember the movie The Shining, where the guy lost his mind and typed all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy over and over and over again, and he wrote it on walls, and yeah, he lost his mind. So you do need to relax. And I don't know if the author here is saying that you should never relax, but that's what it sounds like he's saying, right? Well, let's continue with what he's actually saying, and then I'll continue with my thoughts, because that's what we do here on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to BIPCOT.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com.
Hi, this is Roger Paxton from the Lava Flow Podcast, the Free Coast Freecast, and Pax Libertas Productions, and you're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry.
Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? You know, Bitcoin, that decentralized cryptocurrency that's been around for almost 8 years and has once again crossed the $1,000 mark. Yeah, that stuff. Do you use it? Well, if you do, then you need to add Spend a Bit into your arsenal. Spend a Bit is the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spend a Bit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants, including Overstock.com and Free Press publications. Keep your money in the free economy. Spend a Bit. Use my affiliate link, spendabit.fppradio.com. And if you are a Bitcoin-accepting merchant, like I am, ask about their merchant suite to reach even more customers. That's Spend a Bit, all one word, spendabit.fppradio.com. Back now to the article from Archetypes about realizing what really matters in life. The author says, the next time you think of starting up a new series on Netflix, ask yourself, is this really going to matter to my life? Is there something I could be doing to further myself instead of falling into another show hole? The answer to these questions, if you're serious about chasing your goals, should be obvious. And again, it sounds to me like this guy is saying that you should never have any pleasure, which I would say would be detrimental to your overall mental well-being. And I think most people have be happy as a life goal. So, take some me time if you need it, but don't, veg out on the sofa. You know what I mean? Don't turn into a couch potato to where all you're ever doing is sitting on the couch and watching TV. It makes me happy. Yeah, but, accomplishing other goals will make you happy as well. I continue with how to attain your goals and actually plan how to attain your goals. This is where things start to get a little rocky for many of us. It's not enough just to aspire for greatness. You have to know how you're going to get there. This is where you're going to end up making changes to your lifestyle and life as a whole. While planning how to attain your goals, ask yourself the following questions. What do I need to get there? What material possessions do I need to get there? What do I need with me? Or rather, who do I need with me? And what and who don't I need? And something else that you need to ask that is not mentioned here is specifically, what are you trying to attain? It's not just enough to say, I want to make more money. Well, okay, so you get a 2-cent an hour raise at work. That's more money. Was that your goal? Nope, probably not. But, well, you don't know because you didn't specify in your goal what amount of money you wanted to make. You just, I want more money. So I forget who said it, but it's wise advice. If you don't know where you're going, you'll never get there. So if you don't know what your goal is, you will never meet it. I digress and continue. The author of this article says, getting to this point obviously means you're going to be moving forward with your life, but to do so, you're going to have to leave some things and people behind. Unfortunately, this can be hard to do. Putting away childish things like wasteful hobbies and pastimes, party nights, and carefree attitudes don't exactly sound fun, does it? It gets even harder when you have to start declining invitations to get-togethers and house parties because you know the time spent with your old buddies is time that could have been spent improving your skills and your life. On the bright side, however, moving from one old pastime doesn't create a void in your life. It creates space for you to fill with what really matters. You soon won't have to miss the good old days if you stay focused on your goals. Most importantly, rather than living your life for another day, you start to become an active participant in every action you take on a daily basis. When you focus on what matters, you'll be free to live your life on your terms. And again, you won't be looking into the future per se. Obviously, if you have a goal, you kind of are looking to the future. But if you're working on the goal, then you're not looking into some, weird as yet to be determined future. because you're working in the now to wind up creating that goal. Does any of that make sense to anyone other than me? So let me give you an example here. Let's say you're running a 5K race. You can't, at the very beginning of the race, be thinking about the finish line. Because if you do, well, the finish line's like right behind you. Just turn around and walk there. But then you totally wind up, like skipping the entire race. And the point of running the race is to run and finish. So you have to, put one foot in front of the other, and, you're living in the now of running the race. You can't constantly be thinking about, it's going to be great when I finish, because then you're not in the now. And you have to be in the now, even though the now is working towards that finish line. I hope that clarifies a little bit and makes a little bit more sense of what I was trying to say. Now, let's go to the other article that I did mention. Also, no, actually, this is from Lifehack, not from Archetypes, but still good article titled 5 Things That Hold You Back in Life and How to Get Rid of Them. Article begins, habits. They're the things that we're used to doing on a daily or weekly basis, or basically whenever there's an action that repeats itself in regular intervals. After living a quarter of your life or so, you may think that what you've developed in your childhood is what will define you for the rest of your life. Even if some of the habits and personal traits that we've developed are holding us back, our mind often chooses to ignore the damage and to resist any kind of change that might usurp the status quo. Now, I've talked about habits before, and, well, these are kind of 5 of them that a lot of people deal with, and how to break these habits will continue here in moments on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. Coinbase is a simple and secure online Bitcoin wallet for sending, receiving, and storing Bitcoin. Coinbase also allows you to buy and sell Bitcoin using a bank account or use their tools to accept Bitcoin as a merchant. Coinbase has more than 1 million consumer wallets and is trusted by over 25,000 merchants, including Overstock.com, Khan Academy, Reddit, and of course, FPP. Get started at coinbase.fppradio.com. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's fans.fppradio.com.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry.
Hey, welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. Continuing with the article about 5 things that hold you back and how to get rid of them. The routines that we develop and our immediate surroundings. People we see on a daily or almost daily basis can sometimes hold us back and prevent us from fulfilling our life goals. It's imperative to recognize these poor influences and elevate yourself above them. And the first step towards it is to realize that you are stagnating. There are some definitive signs of stagnation, and here I will try to present them to you and hopefully show you how to tackle them. Another term for stagnation is you feel like you're in a rut, to where no matter what you do, you're not going forward, you're not going backward, you're just sort of stuck. You ever felt like that? I know I have. And it's not a good place to be mentally. It really isn't. Let's continue with the article, and the very first thing that they have here as far as signs of stagnation or being in the rut is negativity. Have you ever started planning something that's supposed to change your life, make you rich, perfect your skills, etc., only to have the mental piece of paper with the plan crumpled and thrown into the back of your mind because, quote, it would never work. This happens to a lot of people. The current global situation, which actually has never been better, your material situation, or a lack of will can all keep you pinned in place. Like the link above says, and they do have a link to an article saying that the current global situation is actually better than it's ever been. As the link above says, it seems that it's never been a better time to be a pessimist. And again, as with all links mentioned, it will be in the show notes. Newsflash, and this is from the article, not me actually giving you a newsflash. The article says, newsflash, it's been worse every step of the way in human history. Black people in the U.S. were segregated until the 1960s, yet that had not prevented the likes of Ray Charles, John H. Johnson, Jackie Robinson, Tommy Smith, and John Carlos in succeeding in their respective lives, just to name a few. Today, people have more freedom than they've ever had. There's no reason to think that something will fail because it would never work. You cannot know until you've given it a well-planned try. However, negative thinking is not entirely your fault. It can also come through a negative environment. And this is something that a lot of the overly optimistic people sort of, don't think about, is the negative environment. They're, oh, well, you woke up and decided to be negative. Well, no, there are situations that happen, and to deny that is to deny reality. The article here continues. This starts with your friends and family, but is not limited to them. Oftentimes, it will be your friends who will poke holes in your plans because they want to try and keep you in the status quo. They will not do this because they have ill intentions. Instead, they will see it as doing you a favor and being honest with you. People like the status quo and do not like to see it changed. It will threaten their comfort zone, more on that later, and put them in situations that they have not prepared for. Of course, none of this is on the forefront of their logic, and most of the time they are not even aware of this fact. While there's no reason to abandon your friends completely and sever all ties with them, sometimes a change of environment can do a lot of good. Have a new hobby? Start hanging out with new people who have the same one. Or sit at a bar or cafe alone and try to find someone interesting to talk to. Talking to new people brings new perspective on life. Sometimes that's all you need to push ahead. And allow me to just pause here to say that if you don't like going to a bar or a cafe, don't start going just because it was mentioned here. So like the things that you're going to do anyway. So like, if you like having a cup of coffee, instead of going to Starbucks, maybe try one of the local coffee places in your town. Like try just a different environment of things you're going to do anyway. Don't just, oh, well, it says I should go to the bar, so therefore I'm going to the bar after work all the time. No, that's not what they mean here. The next header is inability to make a plan and stick to it. When you don't finally make a plan, the hardest part is actually, or rather when you do finally make a plan, the hardest part is to actually stick to it. For example, you want to improve your physical well-being by going to the gym. You found the program that will get you fit and help you improve your conditioning. The plan involves daily exercises. You may do it 3 or 4 days and then skip one because, hey, you deserve a break. Or you just start procrastinating from day one, thinking about how you'll work twice as hard tomorrow or something like that. This will effectively prevent you from ever making a change. And this is something that we talked about earlier about, people wanting to put off until tomorrow and tomorrow. Well, there is no tomorrow. There's only the now. The most important part of every plan is sticking to it. This may take a lot of willpower, but the change will be worth the mental effort. You can do it, and you can do it today, again, because there is no tomorrow. There is only today. They say, don't do twice as much tomorrow, not in a couple of days, but today, as it's the only day when you can fulfill what you planned, and it's all up to you. This part may also include doing away with things like your comfort zone. And we'll talk about the comfort zone here in the final moments of Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. And there's a little bit more other than just the comfort zone. We'll get to it. Stay tuned. Again, this is Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. Online at fppradio.com. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at weusecoins.com. That's weusecoins.com. Why do they hate us? Is libertarianism compatible with Islam? Davi Barker answers these questions and more in Voluntary Islam and Other Essays. He advances the voluntarist cause with analysis of the confluence of values between Islam and libertarianism, as well as contemporary movements from the Tea Party to the Arab Spring. Voluntary Islam by Davi Barker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. Here in the final moments, we're talking about the 5 things that hold you back in life and how to get rid of them. The first one is negativity. The second is a negative environment. The third is an inability to plan, or rather to make a plan and stick to it. Item number 4, your comfort zone. It's a popular saying that you can't make a joke without offending someone. Everyone has their own safe space, which works like a bubble of beliefs and habits which comforts you, telling you that things are all right and nothing needs to change. Stepping out of it, sometimes even for a moment, brings about anxiety, panic attacks, or just flat-out denial that there's anything good on the outside. If you wish to change, there will be a lot of things that will lie outside of this bubble. It will involve doing things that you've never done before or even heard of. And it's always easier to default back to your comfort zone or your personal safe space and feel content with what you have than step outside of it and feel outright lost. But it has to be done. It's the only way to achieve personal progress. No one is good at everything at first try. The whole history of humanity is a trial and error process, and without it, we would never get to where we are today. It's not about I can't do this, but about I've failed now, but what do I do next time? Also, living in your comfort zone almost always leads back to feeling like you know it all and not identifying your weaknesses. Again, habits and routines developed during childhood and teenage years slowly take over your life. We're all looking for stability. Once you're buried in your routine, you will not see that some of them actually are weaknesses. Have you perhaps developed a habit that is hurting your health, mental or physical? Do you have work to do, but you decided to play video games instead? You think that these habits simply help you to relax, take your mind off things, or just help you get the job done, but they also prevent you from seeing how they are hurting. And there's a good bit more to this that I definitely do not have time to read, but as always, the link will be in the show notes. Allow me to jump down a little bit. They say once you've realized that you have a weakness, you can choose to rectify it yourself, but it's not always possible. Some habits grip us hard, and they, or we, don't wish to let go. That's when it's time to talk to a professional and maybe get some professional advice. Basically, habits can hold us back. The world is in a constant change, and we must change too in order to stay on top. Again, the link will be in the show notes, and don't forget, every Wednesday, I answer your questions. Send those over, AMA@FPPradio.com.
The podcasts of FPP Radio are licensed under Copy Heart. We believe that copying is a form of flattery and do not abide by the copyright laws. Those laws serve to restrict the flow of ideas which no one can really own. Copying is an act of love. Love is not subject to law. If you enjoy the show, consider joining the Fans program and get perks like ad-free versions of Peace, Love, Liberty Radio and FPP Radio News, and also get a copy of the monthly newspaper FPP News. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.